And let's talk to my first guest in this half hour, Ian Acheson. He's a former prison governor. He was also Director of Community Safety at the Home Office, and he was a senior advisor at the Counter-Extremism Project, and many years ago was also head of security at Wandsworth Prison, and he joins us right now. Good morning to you, Ian.
Good morning.
Thank you very much indeed. Wish you were still a head of security at Wandsworth Prison. We perhaps wouldn't have seen a three-day manhunt for Daniel Khalife. Now, he was caught, of course, on Saturday, back behind bars. He's now facing a court appearance today. He's also on those charges of escaping prison, but of course he's also on remand for terrorism charges. Can I ask you, first of all, when we come back to this story, is what on earth someone who was a suspect, we have to remember he's not been convicted of any crime, a suspect for basically having been working in the British military and planting the allegation of planting a fake bomb and that he was basically, to all intents and purposes, a foreign spy and a suspected terrorist. What on earth would he be doing in a Category B prison like Wandsworth anyway?
Well, that's a big question, and I'm pleased that the Secretary of State, Alex Chalk, has ordered an investigation into why he was categorised. He's clearly and was clearly a potential national security risk. A lot of the offences were related to espionage allegations, and plainly he was remanded in custody because the evidence was that he might have been a flight risk. Now, in the event, this is much less sort of Jason Bourne than it ain't half hot mum. I mean, this guy was pulled off a push bike in Chiswick. Yeah. So some of the more sort of hysterical prognostications about him being a deep state spy rescued by foreign actors and so on, I think all of that was kind of fallen apart. But the fact remains, he was categorised and put in a prison that is, by all accounts, and for years in freefall. Yeah. It was bad enough that he was categorised suitable to be at Wandsworth, but then the completely bizarre decision to allocate him a place in the kitchen, one of the most vulnerable places in the prison, also needs further investigation. But I think, and I've said this, consistently through the weekend, what this episode, fairly comedic episode in the end, sort of has revealed, which is much more useful, is the dreadful state of our prison system. Yeah. And the public are often hidden from the base realities of a system. They are paying north of $5 billion a year to process people through a system that is plainly completely inadequate to either keep them safely or securely now, or indeed rehabilitate them. So yes,
it's not doing any of the things it's supposed to do. That, and of course, and it's massively short of places. It's got 1,000 prison places left. They could be used up in a week if we actually sent people to prison for repeat offending for things like shoplifting. We haven't got the places, so they're not sent to prison. We're paying a fortune. We're not deterring crime. We're not as you say, rehabilitating people, and it's and we're paying a fortune. It doesn't, apparently we're not even keeping ourselves safe, and also, and it is a duty of care in a civilised nation to keep the people behind bars safe. Most people behind bars haven't been convicted of violent crimes. They have a right. Even those convicted of violent crimes, they have a right to safety behind bars, and we're not seeing that. But this has echoes of a lot of the things we've seen in any public sector issue, whether it's about Lucy Letby and the NHS, whether it's about concrete crumbling in British in schools, or what's going on in the prison service. All of this stuff is known. Everybody who's got anything to do with the prison sector or policing or the criminal justice system knows it's massively underfunded, massively short-staffed, undertrained new staff, inexperienced. We've got all of these issues. It's not doing the job it's supposed to do, and it's basically in permanent semi-crisis. And it's only when something like this happens that we have the spotlight on it. Do you have any hope that anything is going to be done as a result of this?
Well, there are very few votes in prisons, let's be completely blunt about it. And there are many other priorities for the public. And the public don't have a great deal of sympathy for the people that get locked up, or a great deal of time to even consider what we should be doing with them. And of course, that only emerges, sadly, when your sister or my auntie or somebody else's brother becomes a victim of an alienated and brutalised individual who's gone into a system that's actually made him, predominantly we lock up men, made him worse. So, I am a bit pessimistic, basically. I think the Secretary of State for Justice was right to order these independent investigations. But, one of the investigations is into where exactly we've got terrorist suspects in the prison system. Now, again, this should be a bit of a red flag. This is the political boss of a system where we lock up only about 200, 230 of some of the biggest security risks to national security risks of the country. Yeah. I'm really concerned that he doesn't know where all these people are already. And indeed, 7 years ago, when I investigated terrorism inside the prison system for the then Secretary of State, Michael Gove, I recommended that the Justice Secretary had an independent advisor on counter-terrorism in prison custody. Why did I ask for that? Because I had absolutely no faith, basically, in the prison service's ability to spot, let alone to communicate, what the nature and extent of the problem from violent extremism was up the line because of hand-wringing, embarrassment and incompetence.
Well, yeah, well, look, come on, we saw that when we saw the horrific terror attack on London Bridge. I mean, literally just outside this building I'm in right now at TalkTV Towers, where a man who was basically, I mean, it was extraordinary. He was actually, at a conference about rehabilitation of offenders. Was a convicted terrorist himself. And there he was, basically biding his time for a moment when he could kill the people who were talking about his rehabilitation. I mean, extraordinary. And they're just incredible misjudgment by all those involved. In terms of us getting to grips with this, what needs to be done? Let's put you in charge for the day. What needs to be done?
Well, I mean, we've got two options here. I don't think it's soluble by any one person. It's very flattering to put me in charge. I'd probably resign immediately. But we've got two hard choices. We either spend enough money to lock people up purposefully and to give them a chance, many of them who'll be coming out again and living next door to you or I, to give them a chance to rehabilitate themselves. Or we start emptying the prisons of people who shouldn't be there. We've got a very significant proportion of people in prison who are there for non-violent offences. We shouldn't be locking up people who are nuisances. We should be locking up people and actually doing something to fix them and to manage them properly, who are a danger to the rest of the public. So we can't have it both ways. Unfortunately, we're in the foothills of an election campaign, and neither political party is going to want to be seen at all. Indeed, will be terrified of being seen as soft, as it were, on the criminal justice system. So until we have that debate, and until we say, actually, you're going to have to pay for the prison system that locks up all these people to do it humanely and safely and to some purpose, or we're going to have to start clearing the prison landings of people who don't need to be there, actually doing something productive with them outside custody, because at the moment there is very little in the way of public confidence of non-custodial penalties.
Well, exactly, because people don't even turn up and then nothing happens to them. Ian Acheson, I would have you in charge and I wouldn't want you to resign, former prison governor and also long time ago head of security at Wandsworth Prison in the 90s. Thank you so much for joining us, appreciate that.